Competitive eating is a sport. How do I know that? Well, ESPN sent this guy to MC this event. The most famous competitive eating event in the country is probably the Nathan's Hot Dog event, but a little over 10 years ago, the second most famous was probably the Krystal Square-Off. And in 2008, the fifth year of them running the Krystal Square-Off, they had a qualifying event happen at the 2008 Tennessee State Fair in Nashville. Another way I can tell that it's a real sport is because they made a real trophy that they give out. Now, I wouldn't call them athletes, but the realm of competitive eating does have a group of regulars, the people who are pretty good at competitive eating, and they get invited to a lot of the eating competitions, such as Pretty Boy, seen in this picture. One of the fan favorites at this event was Eric Badlands Booker. Perhaps because before the competition began, he gave away free copies to the audience of his competitive eating themed rap CD. At the time, he had a MySpace music profile with some of his songs such as She's My Bunnette or Sweet Science of Competitive Eating, which samples the Thomas Dolby song about science. And then he also had the Krystal Square Rap-Off, which was a song that sampled ABBA's Mamma Mia. He also had his own clothing line, Hungry and Focused Apparel. In addition to the professional Major League eaters, they also invite some local people who are not professionals to try their luck at the challenge as well. Now, this guy who went by the name of Dr. Big Time certainly had the swagger of a professional. He had Dr. Big Time written on his hat and on his decorative brass knuckles. He just so happened to also be an actual doctor. He is an orthopedic surgeon in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. On this day in 2008, this guy was also one of the amateurs, but he came prepared. He cut off the sleeves of the shirt they gave all the contestants. I guess he figured that would give him some kind of competitive advantage. This amateur also came prepared. He looks like he can, without any problems, lift 3 or 4 crystals and not have any problems. And I guess he was kind of sweaty in the process as well. Let's talk about another of the professionals here for a moment. This is Eric the Red Denmark, and he gets his nickname from Eric the Red, the Viking, but it's also an apt description for his eating style. He brought with him a large jug of a red-colored liquid, and during the contest he would dunk all of his crystals into the red liquid, and that is permitted in the rules. In addition, there was always a piece of red-colored crystals hanging out of his mouth. That made him the grossest competitor to watch. I did take pictures of that, and you should thank me in the comments right now because I am not posting those pictures in this video. At the start of the contest, each competitor was given a tray of 15 crystals, and these volunteers were ready to refill the contestants as the contest went along. Right away, you could tell the amateurs just couldn't cut it. I feel for this guy. He ate about 8 and then realized that he probably couldn't eat any more after that, and that's probably exactly what I would do. At the moment I took this picture, this guy is probably reevaluating the life choices that brought him to this point in time. Now, all of the professionals did have their own techniques to eat the Krystals. And one of the reasons that I think Badland Booker was became the fan favorite was because he ate the Krystals like a regular person. You can see he's holding one in his hand while he's eating one, and that's how a normal person would eat a Krystal. And that takes us to this lady. She is Juliet Lee, and early on she was also a fan favorite, and she was a professional eater. The reason I think she was a fan favorite is a lot of the people were wondering how was this diminutive lady able to keep up with all of the big guys in this contest. She had an eating technique that was, let's say, controversial. Juliet would pick up several Krystals at once. She would then smush them all together and then push that into her mouth. Some of it would stay in her mouth, and some of it would just be flung everywhere, as seen in this photo. The governing body over this kind of championship is the International Federation of Competitive Eating. And on the day of this contest, they made a blog post on their website and had this to say. Juliet Lee maintained a 5-second dunk throughout regulation, but pre-chewed so aggressively the judges had difficulty determining her final count. Many fans and eaters alike questioned the outcome. After the 8-minute contest was over, both of our Erics, seen here, were probably thinking to themselves, they ate more than Juliet did, but she ended up completing more Krystal boxes. But since they were right there, they knew that a lot of that Krystal fell to the ground. Again, the IFOCE website had this to say on their blog post. In a contest marked by controversy and the hottest and most humid conditions seen on the tour so far, Lee's victory had some calling foul due to excessive debris during the 8-minute regulation period. After a lengthy conference with judges, Major League Eating made the decision to hold a 3-person eat-off, the first ever in Krystal Square-Off history. So they went into overtime, and guess what? She did the exact same thing again. And she was still awarded victory for doing the exact same thing again. Let's see what the fans had to think about that. Nope, the fans were not happy. The IFOCE went on to say, Major League Eating has announced it will hold an impromptu conference call this evening to consider the adoption of a new rule to eliminate confusion in future contests. And then the next day, they released this press release. Yesterday's Nashville Krystal Square-Off V qualifier and the controversy surrounding excessive debris from several eaters, including the winner Juliet Lee, has led to the creation of a new rule by Major League Eating that will allow judges to disqualify competitors for messy eating during a contest after an initial warning is given. Major League Eating announces today the creation of a new rule called the mustard yellow card. The rule allows league officials and judges to formally caution a competitor if the official or judge feels the said competitor is eating in a fashion that is so messy it impedes the ability to determine the amount of food consumed. After one caution is given, the judge has the right to disqualify the warned competitor if the competitor has not satisfactorily corrected his or her eating style. While no formal definition need be given, messy eating can include food and debris on a competitor and in a competitor's eating area and cups. However you look at it, that ended up with a messy ending.